Well, your next time, Mrs. C. Stevens.
Hello, good evening. How are you? Ladies and gents, this is my first time doing this, and I'm just quite surprised just hearing my own voice over a microphone. It's very different, you know, when you hear it over a microphone, it's very different from how you hear it usually. In fact, this would actually be quite useful to me, you know, when I was younger, in my teens, I have an actual voice, instead of inside your head going, you really shouldn't do that, you know. You probably shouldn't go that way. Having it actually on a microphone going, Sean, stop. Don't do that. You're 17, you're a student. Don't buy it. It's mostly aerial powder. It's not going to do you any good at all. You know. Other little things, the same sort of things, they get worse, you know, that kind of invite you get to the bedroom that you know you should ignore. And you get there and you're halfway there, and again, the microphone comes in handy, the little speaker next to you, instead of inside your head, outside your head, simply saying, Sean, stepsister might be a category on Pornhub. It's not a good idea in life, you know. And the same thing, other things, you know, simple things like, Sean, put the Dyson down. That's not what it's for. You know. Little things like that. I mean, obviously that's a waste of time. They don't really call them Dysons anymore, do they know? And the reason is a 17-year-old lad came along, a horny 17-year-old boy came along about 15 years ago and recreated the Hoover, especially for that sort of scenario. You know, he'd done a 5-year engineering course. He changed a couple of things. He got it patented. Did he do anything? Did he have a telescopic thing that kind of made it easy to take off? No, he didn't. No, he done one thing. He changed the name. So now, when you ring 111 as a 17-year-old boy in that awkward position, you don't have to use the word Dyson. You can just simply say, NHS 111, can we help? Yes, shark attack. And which part of the British coast do you want, sir? Wigan. Yeah, and we send an ambulance out straight away. It's going to be 15 minutes. And, of course, you need the microphone again because instantly you hear 15 minutes in that scenario and you're going, Sean, that is not enough time to do it again. No. You know. And that doesn't happen anymore. Kind of hit middle age now, and that's interesting. That means a few changes in life. Like, firstly, for example, I've changed my next of kin. My emergency contact is no longer my mother. It was going to be my partner, but she hasn't got the phone a lot. It's now my 17-year-old son, because I know when I ring him in an emergency, or someone rings him in an emergency for my situation, there's only ever two things in his hands. One's a phone, one's a sock, and the other one rhymes with phone. It's a bone, and you know, and that's different. And the other thing, a midlife crisis is not really about what you're going through. It turns out it's more about what my mother's going through, because at my age, 45, my mother's in her 70s, and they're having what's called, and they don't talk about this, a late life awakening, which is great. It means whereas we're worried about the future, at 75, my mother doesn't give a shit. She doesn't care anymore. She's on OnlyFans. Which is, for me, it's really hard. I'm going to her saying, Mother, you know, this is disturbing. I've been told by 3 of my friends that you're on OnlyFans. She said, yeah, it's great. Granny Fanny with a strap-on Manny. It's brilliant, you know. And I'm standing there saying, you know, think about, I've got kids. Think about the grandkids. And that stopped her. And that's when I suddenly realized that, you know, she cares more about the grandkids than about me. You know, firstborn son, she's more bothered about the grandkids. She's giving him a 15% discount to a subscription. I'm paying full price. Which is really difficult. Going online, looking at a stream, thinking of the same thing at the same time. I am possibly doing the same thing as my own father. Ladies and gents, thanks. This is the very first time I've done this sort of thing, and the very first time I use this material. You never know where it's going to go. Didn't go well at my sister's wedding. I'm glad it went better tonight. Thanks very much.
Hey, C. Stevens!